Like hacks that are more publicly known, so you amaze converts your credit card spend to online. So cards that give the bonus on online, right? Those are more useful.
How do one person also ensure that their credit is not affected, in terms of the credit bureau report, their rating is not affected? Does the amount of cards affect their credit rating? What would you say to people who are against credit card spending, in the sense that they feel that if you spend, you might overspend? They rather use debit card and pay cash. What would you say to people with that perspective?
Yeah, I would say they are like tools right? I mean, it's a cliche but knives, you can cook with it, you can stab someone and murder someone with it, you could hurt yourself accidentally. So it depends on how you use those cards. Right, if you're using the card to buy things that you cannot afford, and then you just pay the minimum every month and you let the interest roll, that's the wrong way of using the card. Yeah, and then if you're someone like that, stay away from cards Yeah, you use your debit card, use cash.
Right.
Yeah. But
sorry.
Yeah, but if you're someone who knows that you have to pay off your credit card in full, right, and you are not going to overspend because of that, then by all means you should use a credit card, because if you're not, right, you're actually leaving money on the table, right? You're not earning your cashback, you're not earning your miles. Yeah, actually, a lot of places that accept cards, they actually adjust their prices upwards to account for card fees, right? And this also applies to cash price, because they cannot, they're not allowed to say that,
they cannot segregate.
Yeah, this thing is $100, but if you pay by credit card, we'll charge you more. In fact, those shops that are doing it, actually, they're doing it against their terms and agreement, their terms and conditions of their agreement with the card companies.
So they already factor in their food costs and all their product costs to factor the 3% fees. Right?
Yeah, at most places they will adjust it just to cater in that fee So if you are not paying with card, you are sort of subsidizing everyone else's rewards. Yeah, so you might as well use a card to earn back some.
How many cards maximum can a person apply for?
There's no limit. I have 30 plus.
30 plus
active,
cards.
Yeah.
How do you monitor your 30 over cards?
I
you
think
have
it's
a spreadsheet
Yeah, here I can plug one of my sponsors. Yeah, but okay. So the
what kind of app do you use to monitor?
There are a few apps in the space right now. One of them is called Dobin. Yeah, so Dobin will actually, you can link all your banks to it, and then they will just in one app.
Dobin, how to spell it?
Dobin.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, they sponsored me before, they're gonna sponsor me again.
They'll prompt you, is it? When your annual fee is up or whatever?
Yeah. So so in one view you can look at all your different banks' credit cards. And then you can see that they will prompt you the annual fee is charged, or you can just search your entire history across all the different banks. You just type annual and then annual fee comes out. And I spotted a couple of times where they charged me annual fee and I didn't realize it until I used the app. Yeah.
In terms of strategy, you mentioned about card strategy.
Yeah.
The reason you have 30 over cards is because you want to, of course, first not leave money on the table, look at the continuous benefit, monitor your annual fees, then you can call in and waive. And there's no limit to the number of cards that a person can have.
Yeah, no limit that I can tell.
Right. And how do one person also ensure that their credit is not affected, in terms of the credit bureau report, their rating is not affected? Does the amount of cards affect their credit rating? Yeah,
so when you have that many cards, I think that there's one line in the credit report that says too many lines of credit. So that's one risk factor, but it is not a major risk factor, right? I think my credit score fluctuates between AA to C. And I don't think it really matters actually, right? Because I think I was at C when I applied for my mortgage. There was no issues getting my mortgage. Yeah, It's not really like credit score in US where, it really dictates your interest rates, your application for loans, those sort of things. In Singapore, I think unless you're really defaulting on your payments, right, it's quite irrelevant, the score, in my opinion.
Right. And how does one person get, if you have more cards, does it mean also in terms of the amount of credit limit you have? How does the credit limit system work nowadays? In terms of, because now all banks are sort of holistically connected, right? For per person's credit limit across all their cards and stuff like that.
Yeah, so credit limit, I think the bank will assign you certain amount based on your salary and based on how comfortable they are with your ability to pay. Yeah, so from what I can tell so far, every bank will give me a certain amount of limit. I'm not aware whether or not they share information in that way, especially when you be a customer for some time, you pay them back on time. Yeah, they're happy to increase your credit limit. Yeah.
And what form of card strategy are you referring to just now when you talk about card strategy?
Yeah, so card strategy, I think the first thing you need to realize, to decide is whether you're what kind of spending, what kind of card suit you're spending. Yeah, so some people, they dine a lot. Some people, maybe they spend a lot more on online stuff. Yeah, so you have to find a card that fits your requirements. That's the first. Secondly, I think you have to see what kind of value miles gives you. Right? Cashback is easy to see, right? Because it's just cash. Everybody knows the value of $1, right? Yeah, but miles are a bit trickier. So some people, I think, who chase miles, they tend to overvalue the value of their miles.
What do you mean by overvalue?
So they will think that, it lets me take business class, right? So I will just accumulate a lot of miles and I get a free business class flight. So they think that miles are very valuable because it allows them to get something that they wouldn't pay for. Yeah, but actually they are indirectly paying for it. Because when you collect miles, you're giving up cashback. Yeah, so
and miles are more expensive than cashback.
Miles are more, I would say that each mile, my valuation of each mile is actually 1.25 cents. Yeah. So if it costs me more than 1.25 cents per mile, I wouldn't get that mile.
You'll go for cashback.
I'll go for cashback. So if you ask me to choose between 8% cashback and 4 miles per dollar, I'll choose 8% cashback. Yeah. So I think a lot of people overlook this part, right? So when it comes to paying the annual fee for 10,000 miles, right? So the annual fee is almost $200, $192 for 10,000 miles. A lot of people are calling to waive because they think that, I don't want to spend $190 for 10,000 miles. It's not worth it. But if you break down that cost, 10,000 miles divided by, or rather $200 divided by 10,000 miles, okay, that paying your annual fee actually gets you each mile at 1.92 cents, right? But when you give up 8% cashback for 4 miles per dollar, you're indirectly incurring a fee of 2 cents per mile. Yeah. So to me, the mathematics not very logical, right? Because you avoid paying your annual fee to buy miles at that rate, but indirectly, by refusing to use cashback card at 8%, you are paying more for your miles, but they still do it. Yeah.
So the rule of thumb is that between the $1.25 per mile versus 8%, you go for 8%.
Yes.
Then you will also pay the $190 over to renew.
No, I wouldn't pay that because I don't want to buy my miles at such a high value.
Because it's 1.95.
Yeah.
So you will just cancel the card.
Correct. I will call in for waiver if they don't want to waive or cancel.
Right.
Yeah. So
when will you go for miles?
So the mathematics will be if I can get a bigger number for cashback, I tend to go for cashback. Yeah. So let's say you're asking me, 6% or 4 miles per dollar. I will go for 6% because 6% you divide by 4 miles is 1.5 cents, right? So if I go for the 4 miles per dollar, I'm giving up 6%. I'm actually paying each mile at 1.5 cents, which is above my valuation of about 1.25.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you get the valuation?
Okay, so that one's also another quite a big topic on its own. But 1.25, I think, is based on your valuation of premium flights like business class flights.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you are willing to pay for business class, that means you go to SQ website now, right, and you say, business class flight to Japan, 4,000, I will pay it. Your miles are actually worth a lot, right? Because your miles will help you save $4,000 worth of business class flight or something that you have bought. Okay, but if you're someone who says 4,000, that's crazy, I would never buy business class flight, right? With cash, I will go for economy. You force me to pay cash, I'll go for economy, $700, right? Yeah. So if you're someone like that and then you decide, I will go for miles because miles let me redeem this $4,000 flight for free, you're actually overvaluing the miles.
Because it's still money.
Because it's first of all, it's still money. And secondly, miles are meant to upsell you to things like business class flight. So you're indirectly paying more for your seat. Right? So if you ask someone, would you pay 4K for that flight? I mean, some will say yes, right? Some might say, no, I wouldn't pay 4K for it. So you ask them, will you pay 2K for it? Some might even say no, right? Some might say, no, if I have to pay cash, right, $700, I go for economy. I don't want to pay anything extra. Or maybe I pay $300. I'm only willing to pay $1,000, right? But you go and calculate the amounts they need to redeem this business class flight, right? The amount of cashback they have given up is actually maybe about $2,000. So indirectly, they're paying $2,000. Yeah, right?
If they use the miles.
That's how I calculate lah.
Right. Okay.
I think into consideration opportunity cost, which a lot of people don't. Yeah.
Okay. So do you pay for any of your flights?
So I have never paid for business class flight. Yeah. Economy, budget, those I tend to use cash.
Okay.
Yeah. So business class flights, I will use my miles to redeem for, but I'm under no illusion that, this business class flight is free, right? I would, of course, know that.
Calculate the value of cashback you have given up.
Correct. And of course, miles, unofficially, you are able to sell. I mean, there are ways to sort of sell off your bank points and your miles. But of course, this goes against the terms and conditions of your bank. But if you really, look at the flight to Japan, 100,000 miles, right? You could sell it easily for $1,500, right? So if you wouldn't pay $1,500 to take
sell to other people.
Yeah, sell to other people. You work out an arrangement with your friend.
You can transfer.
Yeah. Okay, let's say your friend wants to go somewhere, go to Japan. All right, he's about to book a business class flight. And you tell him, hey, I can sell you that flight for $2,000. I mean, it's a private arrangement, right? So it's if he's okay with that arrangement, essentially your miles are worth a certain amount, right? So $100,000, $2,000. Yeah. So if you wouldn't pay $2,000 for that flight, but you just take the miles and you book that flight without selling that, you have incurred $2,000. It's opportunity cost which a lot of people don't recognize, I feel.
Right.
Yeah, but I do see it as cost.
Okay. So going back to the card strategies that you were talking about, one is of course like valuing the op cost between cashback and miles, and also looking at your needs like dining or miles. Like what other strategies are there?
There are a lot. There are like hacks that are more publicly known. Like I mentioned before, the Amaze. So Amaze converts your credit card spend to online. So cards that give the bonus on online, right? Those are more useful, right? So some cards, they only give the high rewards if you use it online. You pair it with Amaze, you can bypass that requirement. Of course, some banks catch on, then they exclude, but some banks haven't yet. So those are examples of more publicly known hacks. Another one is you can actually pay your credit card using a certain bank account. You get 1% cashback. Yeah, and this one is getting more and more popular, so I think they will soon stop it. But 1% for paying your credit card bills is actually quite fantastic. Yeah, you rack up a spend of $10,000, $20,000, then you get $100 to $200 back. And of course, how do you rack up that 10, 20K? Those are less known hacks. I mean, there's this whole thing called manufactured spend, right? In the world of credit card, where people actually spend a lot on their credit cards without actually incurring the cost. So they are trying to game the points and the miles and all.
Manufactured spending,
yeah. So in the past, it originated in the States, where I think people realized that, hey, you can buy coins from the US Treasury, or US Mint, right? You can buy at face value. So they will buy $10,000 worth of coins, get all the rewards on their card, and then they take the $10,000 of coins and they go and bank in. So you have gotten your points for free. So that's called manufactured spend. Yeah, so that is...
Does it work in Singapore?
There are ways to do it. There are a lot of ways, yeah. But of course, these are all very underground, very secretively shared among circles of friends and things like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if the bank finds out, there goes this loophole, right? So they will just close it. So, I mean, the US Mint obviously realized, yeah, this is happening. So they stopped. I forgot what they did. Either they stopped accepting credit cards, or the credit card company will say, US Mint excluded from points. Yeah, those sort of things.
Okay. Any other strategies?
I think generally strategies that are more above board, right, would be to pay for things that you didn't realize you can pay with your credit card.
So
since we are on property, mortgage, you can pay your mortgage using your credit card. Yeah, so you have to use services like CardUp, iPayMy, CityPay, Payall cannot. Okay, CardUp and iPayMy. CityPay, I don't think can pay mortgage. So these services, they will charge you a fee. You use your credit card on their website, right? And then they will collect your funds and they pay either your bank, or they then credit to your bank account for you to pay your mortgage. Yeah. So it is sort of it's manufactured spend in some regards, but it's okayed by the banks and yeah. So
right. So mortgage is the first one.
Mortgage, insurance. So a lot of cards exclude insurance, right? But if you go through this route, you still get your card rewards. But of course, there's a fee to be paid. Yeah, so you have to weigh between the rewards you get versus the
Is
fee
fee
you
per
pay.
transaction or per annum?
Fee per transaction.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a percentage of the transaction. So
Right.
if they charge you 2%, right, and your card gives you 3% cashback, then it makes sense. Your arbitrage is 1%.
Right.
Or if they charge you 2% and then your card gets you 1.5 miles per dollar. So you take 2% divide by 1.5. Oh, you're buying miles at 1.3, 1.4, that kind.
Right. So
Yeah.
mortgage, insurance, anything else?
Car loans,
Right.
helpers fee, actually just about anything you can think of. Rental fees.
And the three facilitation platform will be cut up.
Cut up, iPayMy, and Citi Pay All. So Citi Pay All is Citibank's own service. So these are the three that tend to have reasonable pricing, good promos every now and then. Yeah. So
To be the intermediary to pay.
Yeah.
Right. How does in view of all this, right? How are there also strategies for somebody to spend the time to manage this on a monthly basis?
Yeah.
Like you need to manage in terms of like firstly looking at your annual fee, monitoring your cards, and of course like cancelling cards that are no longer useful, points, then intermediary to pay for like the big ticket items to clock up points and miles. How much time do people usually spend in a month to manage this?
Yeah, I would say it's like a side hustle where if you want to earn a lot from it, and I know there are people who earn thousands of dollars per month playing this game, right? You can spend a lot of effort and then reap those kind of returns. But there are, of course, also people who just want something fast free. And yeah, you can just do your research. Okay, this is the best card to use for most of your spend. Then you just use it without spending too much time.
How does somebody earn like thousands of dollars per month? Is it like because they are spending?
Spend.
Wow.
Manufactured spend or okay. So if you're spending a high amount and you're getting rewards, you're just spending a high amount. Yeah. So people who earn from this game, are people who do a lot of hacks.
I see. Like how much time do you spend personally?
For me, it's a bit different because it's my main job, so to speak. So it's
you're
my
very
job.
fast at it.
Yeah. I'm quite versed in whether when a new card launches, right? I look at the card, I look at the terms and conditions. Okay, I know how this works. I know what's the value proposition. So within 1 or 2 days, I can create the video and my analysis . Yeah. So I would say, but I still have to spend a lot of time keeping up with all these things. So I would say that my time is not reflective of.
How do you get updated? Like,
so
the banks update you, or now like you will need to monitor every day?
So there's an intermediary company who ties up with the banks for all the different deals, and they will then update me. Okay, this month there's going to be this. Okay, next week there's going to be this. Yeah, those sort of things.
Oh,
yeah. So I get my news from there. That's one. Second,
intermediary company.
It's called SingSaver. So if you heard, SingSaver is this website where you can go there. Right. Of course, go through my website. Because I tie with SingSaver. So exactly the same deals. Sometimes I get better deals because they give us some exclusive stuff. So they tie with the different banks and they will then tell us what's available in the market. Yeah, so that's one . Second, of course, check the bank's website. So yeah, so a lot of times the bank will announce something on their website and then it's quiet. They just go unnoticed until someone picks up on it.
Right.
Yeah, and then of course, when someone picks up on it, hopefully I'm the one. But if I'm not, someone in my chat group right now, there's 8,000 over people there, will spot it and then do you all realize Bank A just did this?
So you have a Telegram chat group?
Yeah.
Okay. What is it called?
So I have a channel where it's just, I will post my content. It's called satisfy.com. Right. And
it's on Telegram?
Yeah, Telegram.
Right.
Then that channel is linked to a group. It's called Cashback, Miles and Promos.
Okay. So you give all your tips there?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then do people come to you for consultation as a credit card expert?
There are people who will DM me and I don't really like answering questions on DM, so I'll direct them to the chat group, right? Because my reasoning is that it's good for everyone involved. First of all, when an answer is answered publicly, everyone else benefits . So the person, anyone else with the same question, don't have to ask again. Secondly, it's also good for the person asking because I may not be the one who knows everything, right? So sometimes they ask about certain card that I don't use. There's no way I can help you, but the community can. Yeah. Yeah. So I think So, and of course, if I had to deal with every single DM, I have no time for myself. Yeah, so it's good for everyone involved.
So how do you monetize this channel? Like, as a business point of view, how do you monetize your YouTube channel? Is it mainly from sponsors?
Yeah, so my main source is from when people sign up for something. Yeah, so that's my main.
You get a referral fee, affiliate.
Correct. Yeah, and then another form that is growing is, of course, sponsorships. So there'll be companies who come and they say, oh, we want to talk about this product. Yeah, then charge them a fee for it.
So this is like, this whole credit card content channel is like your side hustle, which is apart from, of course, your main work, your day job.
And I guess to some extent, they sort of give their blessings because they know that I'm running this. In fact, that's how my boss knew of me because I was sharing on YouTube my experiences as an insurance agent and then later as an IFA. He saw that video and then he gave me that job offer.
He reached out to you?
Yeah, he reached out to me. He said, gave me a job offer basically. So I thought, okay, interesting, then I take it So yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So of course it's a day job. I mean, it takes quite a lot of my time.
Right.
But every other time I'm working on my online stuff.
Do you have to report on a specific time, like clock in, clock out at your day job?
Yeah, it's a 9 to 6 job.
Okay.
Yeah, but of course they don't micromanage until you came in late today or you're leaving early. They're not that kind of company.
Right. And you meet clients during that time frame. But are there appointments at night and weekends and stuff?
Yeah, so we are quite I think unique in the sense that not only do we charge fees, as we also operate during working hours mostly.
Okay.
So we believe as a professional services firm, right? Like lawyers, like doctors, you work at a certain hours. Yeah. And sometimes after hours, everyone is tired, right? The client is tired, you are tired. So there's no way you can really talk about something so heavy, right? Such as financial planning. It takes a lot of mental bandwidth. So
there's very limited consultation during evenings and weekends.
I would say almost nothing. But of course, sometimes our clients really cannot make it. Yeah, then we do make exceptions. Yeah.
Right. That's pretty interesting. How has the journey been like this 2 years at the new fee only, like sort of like the financial planning firm?
I would say that one, I don't have to worry about viability of the business because as an employee, that's not in your place to worry about, right? That's up to your boss to worry about. Yeah, so that's something that I find refreshing. I mean, month in, month out, I get my paycheck, which is actually relatively new to me because I've been self-employed my entire adult life since 2009. Yeah, so after 12 plus years of self-employment, I'm getting a regular paycheck every month and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. There's a lot less to worry about. Yeah. So that's one. And second, of course, learn a lot of things about more in depth about holistic financial planning. Because previously at the insurance agency, I was taught sales techniques. Yeah, how to assume close, how to ask yes question, those sort of things. But over here, we are more on the actual planning process.
Really from the customer's point of view, trying to plan long term.
Correct. How to plan for their drawdown during retirement. Okay, they need this kind of income. You need to hedge against inflation. What tools to fit into the sort of things. Yeah.
So, looking back at your journey from, I mean, the first point of touch that as a telemarketer until now, like now, your mid-30s, like what kind of advice do you have for young people? I mean, that's just graduated.
Wow. What kind of advice? I guess you...
Like 3 important like life lessons based on somebody that's just graduated all the way to mid-30s. What do they need to know?
Wow, sometimes I wish people would give me that advice instead. But I think based on my experience will be to find low-hanging fruit. Things that you can do pretty well and can be monetized. But of course, that's just the financial aspect, right? We need money to survive. So that's the first advice I would give, which is go and find things that can make you money easily. Yeah, sounds quite obvious now that I put it out. Yeah, but I guess that's what I've been doing all my life. Because when I first started out, I have no degree. What can I do? Oh, insurance. Then after that, I can do tuition. Then now, content creation. Yeah, so that's basically what I've been doing my entire adult life. Yeah. Second would be, I guess, to also be more aware of what you're doing, because things that you do have certain repercussions beyond, beyond you just earning a paycheck, I feel like. Yeah, because when you sell a policy to someone, right, like you sell a savings policy and for the person's child's education, right? It could be the difference between the child having enough funds for his college education versus not having enough. Yeah. So when you're doing things like, oh, it's just a job, okay, I'm selling this policy because my company tells me, but it can have a lot of impact on the person on the other end. Yeah. So that's what I feel you should have an eye for also. Yeah. Then I really don't have much advice to give.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And have you ever imagined that you will be a content creator on YouTube?
Oh, no. Never.
How does it feel like being a content creator now?
Oh, no. It still feels quite surreal, even though I'm like, I think into my 3rd year. Yeah. Sometimes I just pause and I sort of like laugh at myself for, this is what I do for a living. It's quite weird. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Yeah.
And are there any other like credit card content creator in Singapore?
Oh yeah, there are quite a few. I mean, Mao Lion is one of the bigger names in the space. Yeah, so he does a lot. I mean, as the name suggests, on mouse but he's also very astute in this in the sense that he doesn't ignore cashback cards. Right? So when I mentioned DBSU giving 17.5, I mean he's also using that because there's no way you can justify using a mouse card when a cashback card gives you 17.5%. Yeah, so he's I think one of the biggest, if not the biggest names in terms of credit cards in the space. Yeah. Yeah.
And what is your 5 years plan from now?
I actually don't really have a plan, which okay, I have a general plan on things like retirement, which I help my clients to plan for. But in terms of career and business, I am actually someone who just goes with the flow. Yeah. So I started my insurance job on a whim. I did my tuition business out of a supper meeting with my friend. And I started my content creation journey just by doing a blog, just for fun. So I would say that my 5-year plan, of course, would be, I don't really have a 5-year plan. I'll just grow whatever channels I have and I will just see what's the next thing that I can try to do. But after looking at your studio and all, I feel quite inspired, because that's one of the things that I think as a content creator, you might be, interested in having your own studio space to be even more serious about content creation. Yeah.
It forces you to have a commitment that you need to create content consistently.
Oh, yeah.
And like, just like you mentioned, you have a mortgage. So you bought a property already for your own.
Yeah.
Are you married, by the way?
No. Okay. It's a bachelor pad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like, do you, like, what are the things you invest in? Like in terms of your own portfolio, like some of the things that you believe in, like example, like insurance or like property or like stocks or like Bitcoin or whatever it is.
So my portfolio is very I wouldn't say conservative. It's very boring Yeah, I believe in investing in a globally diversified fund. Right. So I don't time the market and I don't pick individual stocks because I feel that people cannot predict the future. Yeah, and so I buy globally diversified funds. That's the main bulk of my investment. That's a consistent,
stable return.
And I don't have to time the market. I don't have to pick individual stocks. I just buy and ride the market returns upwards. Yeah, that's one. But of course, I also have like a satellite, just for fun portfolio where I think, Apple will do well, and I'm an Apple fanboy, so I'll just buy Apple stock when I think that they are doing okay But even that has stopped for quite a few years, right?
And like, I mean, like credit card will be one of your interests. So you have a diversified global fund, right? You mentioned. Then more, I mean, like in terms of your property, that is mainly for your own stay needs.
Yeah, property is for own stay, and of course, I'm greedy right? Hopefully, I still remember my agent because the agent that represented the property asked me, are you buying this for homestay or investment? I said both. Then he said, both also good this way. Yeah, so I mean, okay, it wasn't really an investment I think for me at that time, I had enough savings, so I thought, okay, I want to buy my own place and move out. Yeah, because renting feels like a waste of money, and I feel like property appreciation in Singapore, the way it goes, right? It makes more sense to buy than rent I know in some countries it actually make more sense to rent than buy, but for me, my own calculus was that okay, it makes more sense to buy. Yeah, so I just did buy a place that I wanted to stay in.
And like, how do you invest your time? Like, do you read? Do you like, who are your mentors?
Yeah, the topic of mentor is quite interesting because I actually been wanting to find one and I don't know who to look for Yeah, so I don't really have a mentor per se, but for you mean people I look up to? I would say my big boss is one of them. Yeah, I think it's quite quite inspiring how he managed to create a business that people thought was not possible. And even now it's still the only fee-only firm. And yeah, steward it over 20 plus years into a growing company. Yeah.
Right. And do you read like
online stuff?
Right.
Yeah. So I always have like notifications popping in from Reddit, from Twitter, all kinds of sources. Yeah.
Okay, awesome, great. Come, we will usually have this segment that we'll ask our guests to select a few cards. So this candle card is a deck of 100 cards.
Okay.
Every question comes from every single of our PLB teammate.
Okay.
Yeah, so we made it our own card game. Basically, there's different segments: personal, there's a bonus segment, work, and all that. Yeah, you can pick one.
The different colors mean something.
Yes, blue means work.
Right.
Black means like it's a mystery you won't know what is
mystery.
It. Then the purple one are personal questions.
Okay, I thought a lot about work already.
Okay.
Personal sounds risky. Okay, mystery.
Okay.
Yeah. So I review.
Yes. Yeah, you can read out the question.
If you could witness any event from the past, present, or future, what would it be and why? Wow. Clearly picked the wrong card. Past, present, or future? Okay, future. Yeah, I think I will want to see what happens in the future because that is something that, of course, is something that we will not be able to learn about in our lifetimes. Right? Because sometimes I look at the way technology progresses. I mean, things that were 10 years ago versus now is drastically different. So if we look 10, 20, 50 or 100 years in the future, I think things will be very, very interesting to watch. Yeah. So I think I would want to fast forward to maybe 100 years later to see what society is like at that time. Yeah.
And like is talking about the future, is AI in one of your plan for your content? And
yeah, so I actually have been quite fascinated with AI for quite a while. I mean, during my tuition days, I always tell my kids about stories about AI, even when it was not that hot a topic. I think there's this event called the Singularity where it's feared that AI will overtake humans in terms of intellect. And then after that, we are not sure what AI will do. Yeah, so that is a risk factor when it comes to AI. And I think a few years ago, it was not obvious that this would happen. Right? Because AI, at the best representation we had last time was what? Siri, which is very dumb. Right? And then now, of course, ChatGPT has shown that AI is actually very smart and it can get smarter. And it's an eventuality that it becomes as smart as humans and then exceed us from that point. Yeah, so I would think I want to see 100 years later, are we really there? And what are humans still around? Or did we manage to harness AI properly? Yeah.
And in future, would there be a tool that can really help us to compare cards? And then of course, from there, you can give your advice and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, there are already companies trying to do that now. So there are apps that tell you, okay, you're shopping at this merchant. Here are the best cards that you can use. Yeah, so they're already trying to do that. But of course, they are not quite there yet. They will recommend all kinds of nonsense sometimes, right? So my job now is still quite secure. But in future, I think it's just going to be, an eventual thing that AI apps like that take over. Yeah.
And I mean, maybe from the human part, it's really about using experience to decipher, because sometimes, just now I mentioned merchants, and if they recommend certain cards, could it also be that there's a conflict of interest at the back? Maybe
there could be.
Right, the incentives that they have to recommend certain cards and stuff like that. Right. Okay, great. Thanks for coming for our interview.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
It's the first time we have a credit card expert. Yeah, so I think our audiences are in for a treat. Thanks for sharing with us generously about immediately which cards to apply for and stuff like that. So I think we appreciate you for the time. It was great also meeting you, I think, a couple of months back at an event. Yeah. So that time I remember I was asking you what's the secret to your youth? It's you're 36 but you look super young.
Genes. I thank my parents for that. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. Thanks Seth. Yeah,
thank
you. We take a photo. Yeah. Are those 3 cards at your back the best cards now?
he's a walking credit card expert. Yeah, you all got any questions? Sure, ask him.